most important segment of the show so far. We enjoy it. We've had some contentious top five lists, man. So today we're gonna do the SEC's top five receivers of all time. All time. SEC top five. You know what I'm saying? So I would like you to start, as always, because I like to see your list and we go from there.
Cool. Well, I have a good mixture here. I think you're going to agree with the vast majority of it. I don't know if you're going to agree with who I've got at 2-1, but I like to be a little controversial, and it's good to be controversial. It creates discussion, and we can kind of see each other's perspective. So at number 5, I'm gonna go Percy Harvin. What he could do from a receiver perspective, as well as being able to
Okay.
rush the ball, opening that offense up with Tebow, Hernandez, all those guys. Key contributor to them winning the national title in '08. I think Percy Harvin's top 5. Easy. A lot of other lists will have him within the top 10, 15. I think he's top 5.
See now I gotta add a 5C, man. I gotta add a 5C. Since you went Percy Harvin, I gotta add somebody to mine. Okay.
Okay.
I got you. I
Okay.
got you.
Now
I got you. I
I'm
got
going
you.
to pay a little homage to you. I think number 4, I'm going to go Devontae Smith.
Ooh, I like that.
Not not many guys. You look at how many guys have played receiver won the Heisman. You think of like Desmond Howard, Devontae Smith. It's not many guys. And although I might not be as high on him as maybe you are, some other people are. I mean, you can't deny. And there are other guys that won the Heisman receiver that I don't have top 5, but that's not a problem. But I think Devontae Smith, although I'm not high on him, I think he's probably one of the better receivers you guys have had in a long time. But yeah, I think Devontae's number 4 for me.
Okay.
Uh, and number 3, I'm pretty sure you're gonna have this guy on your list at 3. I got AJ Green
I do. I do.
with
I do.
Matthew Stafford and them boys. AJ Green was a playmaker. He could take over a game. Just an overall really solid guy. Uh, I'm gonna throw one honorable mention in just because I really liked him and I thought he was really underrated. Was Michael Crabtree with Texas Tech playing with Graham Harrell and them boys. I don't know if a lot of the guys watching this will remember, but that play he scored on to win the game against Texas, legendary.
Legendary.
All right, Michael Crabtree is top 10, my hands down. Not top 5, but he's right there. Now,
Definitely.
this is where the controversy is going to come in, but it's okay. So, I mean, 2-1, I feel like it could go either way. The guy who I have at 1, most people might not think he'd be 1, but his stats speak for themselves. And number 2, I got Julio Jones.
Okay. Okay.
Julio, Julio, I feel like how you were talking about the other earlier or whatever, you were talking about how marketing or I feel like he kind of started the running back phase for you guys. I feel like Julio Jones was that guy. Just he could do it
Okay.
all, man. Athletic catches, route running, breakaway speed, hands. You need a guy to get up and get something or win you a game. Julio Jones is the guy to go with. When quarterback play was kind of up and down with you guys, or you guys kind of had those kind of quarterbacks, Julio Jones has always missed the consistency, missed the go get up. Not many times in college or the pros you see Julio Jones drop the ball
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. He's a good player. Good player. Okay, go ahead. Go
Now
ahead. Let me hear one. Let me hear one. One, baby.
I got Josh Reed at number 1. Josh
You
Reed
know
from
what?
LSU. He's one of the greatest college receivers ever, All American, Biletnikoff winner. All SEC as well. The guy was just a bucket. If you need a guy that's just going to rack up yards, consistent, catch the ball, when LSU didn't necessarily have the greatest quarterback play around that time, around 2001 or whenever it was, I think Josh Reed's 1, but I think there could definitely be a case for Julio to be the 1 as well, just for his consistency, great hands. But right now, I'm going to put Julio at 2 and Josh Reed at 1.
Okay. Nah, that's cool. All right. All right. I like that list. I like the list. Josh Reed. I did some research, obviously, before the show. He was good, man. He was damn good at LSU, man. He's probably one of their best receivers ever on a long list of receivers that's been real good in the NFL. So I don't really know what he did in the NFL, but I know what he did in college got him picked kind of high. So somebody thought he was real good. And once I seen some of the highlights and some of his film, some of his stats, I was like, okay, All right, cool, cool, cool. Like I said, man, I don't see no bad parts in your list, man. Percy Harvin, I didn't even consider him a receiver, honestly. I consider him a Swiss Army knife. But since we was going there, I had to add somebody in my list that was very important. But Julio, man, you don't understand how important Julio was, man, because Nick Saban came to Alabama what, '07? So it was a
Yeah.
bad year. But '08 was better than the '09 team, if you ask me.
Hmm.
Because they had all the talent and Parker Wilson was awesome. He was an
He
awesome
played
quarterback.
pretty good.
He was awesome. So that team was better than '09. '09 was just tougher. Like
Hmm.
that team, obviously you saw smash Florida, which was real good. But '08 wasn't tough enough to beat Tim Tebow at the time. So
Hmm.
that wasn't gonna happen. But the person that was responsible for the rebuild was Julio Jones. We don't get Dante Hightower, Courtney Upshaw, Dre Kirkpatrick, none of them dudes come to Bama without Julio Jones.
He
So
was a game changer.
he's the architect of what Nick Saban built. He was the key piece of recruiting. We had to keep him because he's from Foley, Alabama. He could go anywhere, so it didn't matter. But we had to keep him in Alabama. Without him, I don't think we do what we need to do against anybody without him. I think everybody else goes other places, but he was
Mm.
big. So like I said, man. All right, here's my list, man. I like your list, by the way. So, my list, man. 5C, David Palmer, man. David
Yeah.
Palmer from Alabama, man. He's a Swiss Army knife. Since you went Percy Harvin, I was like, okay, I gotta add him to mine. He did everything: returner, receiver, running back, whatever. He was kind of one of the most important pieces on offense, man, and special teams. For that '92 national championship team, man. I don't think you could go anywhere without him. Obviously, we had some good defenders. I don't know if Cornelius Bennett was on there, but either way, we had some really good defenders, man, around that time, man. Some really good, hard hitting dudes. So, um, like I said, we had some good guys, man, but he was important part of that national championship team. 5B, I'm gonna go Eric Mose, man, at Mississippi State, man. One of the new guys that I had to do some research on, man. But NFL wise, man, you talking about a guy with almost 10,000 yards. Uh NFL, I mean college, you're talking about a guy with 2,000 yards and over 20 touchdowns. So um guy's pretty good, man. And coming from Mississippi State back then, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, and he was doing his thing. So, uh, but like I said, one of the good guys. I really followed his career NFL wise more than college, but looking at his stats, man, he was a baller. Then 5A, I'm gonna go Amari Cooper, man. Uh,
Yeah. That's one that I barely snubbed on mine.
Yeah, Mark Cooper, man. Talk about short, long, medium, all the routes. He could run them all. That's his best
Great
thing in the
route.
NFL right now. Route running. He could do it
Mm.
all, man. Couldn't that was made him unguardable. Wasn't the fastest, wasn't the quickest, man. Definitely wasn't the biggest, but he could run routes. And his route running was exceptional, man. So that's why I put him a 5, most definitely. Hate to be a homer, but I am.
Oh, but Amari Cooper was that dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then 4, gotta go Julio. I can't put Mari over Julio because without Julio, Mari doesn't go to Alabama, man. I think he goes to probably a Florida school. If Julio Jones doesn't come to Bama first, you know. So and then 3, I'm gonna go Sterling Sharp, South
Yeah.
Carolina. Man, talk about a guy that took the college thing by storm. Just happened he had a little brother that was a little better too, huh? But but Sterling Sharp, man, he was definitely awesome, man. Talk about a guy that was exceptional as a kick returner, exciting route runner, fast, had everything, electric. You know what I'm saying? NFL that got him picked top 10. So he did his thing. Um, and then I want to talk about AJ Green, man, at two, man. Absolute baller. He did his thing. I enjoyed him, man, with Matthew Stafford, man. He was an athlete. He could play,
Mhm.
he could run routes, he could jump ball with anybody, he could do it all. So I enjoyed him at Georgia, man, a lot. And he was picked before Julio in the draft. So you already know what's up. He was ranked before Julio in high school, and he was picked before him in the draft. So that lets you know he was something special, man, because Julio
Mhm.
was special too. So AJ Green's definitely one of my guys. And then number one, I gotta go Smitty, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm a homer. I'm sorry. But I just don't think a guy has had, do you think about his career as a whole and think about it in sections instead of just the Heisman? Because his freshman year, you make the biggest catch in college football history in a national championship game to win. Then you continue your success and you have a good year, whatever. And then you have another good year, you know what I'm saying? And when your boys go pro, Ruggs, Smith, not Ruggs,
Judy.
but Ruggs, Judy, right? They go pro. And it's like, oh, well, you should go too, right? Nah, nah. But coming into his senior season, he didn't get the Bolitnikov and he had like more yards than everybody. He had like a touchdown. He had a lot of touchdowns. Didn't get the Bolitnikov with that either. So it was like, damn, what do you got to do, right? So coming that season, man, it really wasn't him that people was talking about. It was Waddle. And before
Yeah.
Waddle got hurt against Tennessee, Waddle had like 800 yards in like 3 games. So you can imagine what kind of stuff he was going to be
He
on.
would have had otherwise.
He would have had a Heisman right then and there because he was on his way, right? But then, Waddle ended up getting hurt against Tennessee, and Smitty became the vocal point, man, and he took it in stride, man. He seemed like that year winning that Heisman, he was unguardable. Anybody. And I give Sarkeesian a lot of credit because he put him in positions to win, rather than just line him up at receiver and run him deep. He put him in the backfield. He put him in a tight end slot. He put him in the slot. He put him in the outside. Man, he did everything. He did punt return, kick return too sometimes. So uh, he did some stuff, man. And that year that put him on the map is probably, if you have a top five list, you can't not have Smitty on there because he won a Heisman, man. It's only been 3 Heisman winners at receiver in the history of history four of them in the history of college football. So you got a guy that was before my time from Nebraska. You got Desmond Howard, Tim Brown, and Smitty. So I'm sorry. You number one on my list, man. And he just balled out, man. Like I said, he was just really a big time receiver, man. And the list of guys that we've had that come through this school that have been like first round talents, he's above all of them, man, because he got that hardware, man. So I appreciate everything he did for the school, man. So uh yeah, and he's a 2-time champion too. So you just throw that in there too.
Mhm.